Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from the Black Business School. Also FinancialJuneteenth.com. I work for them too. I work for a lot of people, but then again, I work for myself because I'm a part owner in everything that I do. To be honest with you, I was somebody sent me this story that I thought was worth talking about. I think it's a good, interesting point of thought as well as a point of uh, of of understanding and reflection, etc. There's a story that's coming out of South Carolina, and it has to do with a credit union. And the credit union is called, a credit union called MTC out of South Carolina. And there's a lady named Jerry. Her name is Jerry Cannon, and Jerry Cannon was on Facebook. Um, you know, and on Facebook, she's basically complaining about black people. And Jerry is a loan officer at this credit union, and in the heat of her Facebook uh, anger, she writes out. She says, "Niggas better watch out. White people are sick of your racist attitude. We will not sit back and watch." And so as a result of Jerry getting on Facebook and talking about the niggas, MTC Federal Credit Union in South Carolina has received some interesting scrutiny. And what's so interesting to me is that it's easy to link Jerry's attitude to prevailing attitudes that exist, particularly in regions like South Carolina. I mean, remember, that's where Dylan Roof went to that church and killed those black people. That's also the place where they've gotten a lot of opposition. When it comes to racial progress, it's where that congressman, I can't remember his name, yelled out, "You lied," to at the president during the State of the Union address. And it really also speaks to what's happening when it comes to black businesses and our ability to get access to capital. If you think about it, it reminds me of that Ice Cube song a long time ago, where it was, I think it was like, "Here's what they think about you. Here's what they think about you," right? So every now and then you get a situation that shows you, here's what they think about you. There are studies that actually show that white people don't want to do business with blacks. There are studies that show that banks won't make loans to black people the way they should. And a lot of it is because there's this latent racism that nobody will talk about. When they see your black butt walk into the office, you're going to be perceived differently from everybody else. So what it speaks to is, it speaks to the fact that black people, black business owners, those who have a dream in the black community, have to find other sources of capital. We've got to learn how to create capital bases ourselves. That means maybe scenarios like crowdfunding, or even using your job as a source of capital for your business, or like Lamar and Ronnie Tyler, Black and Married with Kids, did when they wanted to make a film. They pre-sold the film to raise capital to invest in the film. And that's because even black businesses at the highest levels have a tough time getting access to the financing that they deserve. And so, obviously the most appropriate solution would be one that was based on some type of reparations program that opened the door for, say, $3 billion a year at least, to go to small black businesses, to help those businesses grow and to create jobs. Maybe 3 to 5 billion, 10, I don't know, a few billion a year. I don't know exactly what the number would be that would make that actually have an impact. But I think things like this could make a huge difference. But unfortunately, we live in a country that doesn't want to talk about reparations. It's very interesting. They consider discussions on reparations to be divisive, but they don't really talk about the divisiveness of the original discrimination that took place. When you divide something, initially, you might have to be a little divisive to make things right, right? You can't tell a rapist that I'm being divisive by sending you to prison and not sending the victim to prison too, because the victim's being victimized twice. You're being victimized by the crime that occurred, then you're being victimized by people who want to act like the crime never happened. And so, this story, that's what it really made me think about. It really made me think about all the situations where I've seen young black people go into scenarios where they deserved an opportunity, where they were good, qualified, capable, but they were dealing with racism, from some person who saw them as being different, and never given a chance to really develop the way they could and the way they should. If you want to know what my solution to this issue is, my solution is that we have to build our own. We have to develop our own. But at the same time, I'm not a fan of this whole, kumbaya, forgive and forget mentality people have. Let's not be divisive by bringing up the past. You're not being divisive when you bring up the truth. You know, the truth is something that needs to be addressed. And part of the reason the divide grows is because you have two realities being lived by whites and blacks. You have white people who want to act like it never happened, and black people who are mad, who are finding out about what happened. You see, because that's the thing. We make the mistake of letting other people educate our kids, so our kids never hear the story. They never hear the truth. I'll never forget how mad I was when I went to college and I had a really cool white history professor. I mean, a great man. I can't remember his name. I'm trying to remember the guy's name, but I love this guy. He was a little crazy white man with red hair, and I remember that, I remember him showing me images of black people being lynched and white people standing around like it was a picnic. I had never seen that before, and I remember how angry I was at the age of 18 or 19 from seeing that image. He's also the one who told me about Project 100,000, where they went and they grabbed, they wanted to get 100,000 black men from the inner city and force them to go fight in the Vietnam War. Well, not force them, entice them. So what they would do is they promised them that they get jobs and skills and everything else, but really they were just going to put them in infantry. So as a result, a lot of black men were either killed or brought home in a box, or came back high on drugs, or came back crippled for life, and traumatized for life, and a lot of trauma as well because of what happened then. So what has to occur is that black people, we got to stop falling for the okie doke. We have to really scrap a lot of the things that we've been taught to believe to be true and re-question those things, and also start creating our own truths. Our own truth that is not in alignment with the white supremacist version of the story, because white folks been lying to you for a long time. As a collective, they're looking at you like, what's oh, you gonna let us educate your kids? Okay, we're gonna make them docile little pets. We're basically gonna take the baby dragons and train them to be puppies, and who are loyal to us. And because you're too silly to realize what kind of power you're handing to us. And so I guess these are all the thoughts that come to mind when I see this story about this lady. We know what happens all over the country. We know that people say one thing to your face and one thing when they're around their friends or at the dinner table, or maybe things that they think. What's unfortunate is that these things usually get ignored. People still want to act like racism does not exist. As they say, a lot of people have said this, and I agree, that the new racism is to pretend like racism isn't real, that racism does not exist, and that's just not true. We know racism's everywhere, and I would encourage you, if you're a black person who's trying to pursue economic opportunities, be creative, be industrious, learn how to build your own. As I've told you 1,000 times, and I'm going to keep saying this until I die, every black child needs to learn the basics of starting a business. They need to learn that before they learn how to dance, before they learn how to dribble a basketball, throw a football, before they learn how to rap, before they learn how to do any of these other things that we've been trained to do, to make ourselves into entertainment for white folks. We need to train ourselves to be independent from white folks. You understand? We need to train our children to be ready. It's criminal. It is criminal and despicable when you don't prepare your child, or at least put them in front of people who can prepare them. And then they get tossed out of this economic system with, nothing but frustrations left and right. They're running into loan officers like this lady who's, calling them niggas in her head, and they're mad because they don't understand why their loan application was great and it still keeps getting denied. It's because in her mind, you're a nigga, right? So, long story short, let's tell our kids the truth. I mean, if we don't do that, we're not doing them a service. So anyway, I'm about to get out of here. By the way, guys, we're coming to Chicago on March 26th, next Saturday. We're also going to Houston on the 31st and Baltimore on April 28th. You can find out more about all the cities we're going to at thedrboycewatkinstour.com. That's thedrboycewatkinstour.com. I hope you buy tickets and come out. I'd love to see you. So take care, guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.